What is the future of energy, of fuel? We are energy. We have the grid. We can give you any kind of energy that you desire. At the moment, the overwhelming desire is to make money out of providing energy to others. And people accept that and understand that. And so the consciousness believes that energy has to be paid for, and that someone will make money out of it, and that someone will provide to them on a scarcity basis, and that we need to destroy the planet to access more of this. And this is a mindset that has been created, but it is not true. Energy is free. You choose to manifest it as oil or coal. You choose to manifest it as equipment that will create energy from sun or wind or water. Sun and wind and water are free energy. You do not need all this expensive equipment to access it. You only need to learn how to transform energy, just like you transform food into energy for your body. Transform energy in your environment into light, or into warmth, or into energy for your computer, etc. You just need to know or understand how to plug into the grid. Magnetics is one way. Conversion is another. How do we convert energy or plug into energy for free? Accessing the grid lines, the points of the grid where energy meets, the meridian corner lines. Creating a crossing from points creates a resistance, and that resistance will generate energy. So if you take one grid line corner and another grid line corner and put poles up, or whatever you want up in those, we use pyramids, but you can use whatever you like, and put them up in each corner and create a resistance between the two that will automatically generate energy for you. Energy is created when, or flow, balance, harmony, or chaos. Chaos creates the most energy. But within that grid, within those ley lines, if you create chaos, that will provide energy, but it will be ecstatic, volatile, erratic, volatile energy. Whereas if you have a grid that is in harmony and balance and flow, it will create a nice, pleasant stream of energy. But it is creating the resistance between two corner points of a grid. Explore your meridians. When you understand your meridians and ley lines, you can create energy by creating resistance between two corners of a grid. You do this with acupuncture by putting needles into meridians and ley lines you are creating an energy balancing between 2 points. So it is not about the needle going in to the ley line. It is the resistance created between 2 needles that is doing the flow, energy flow. And so that is the way that your body energy flow will rebalance. You can use metal, you can use whatever you like. It just needs to be able to conduct energy. Can it be used to bring that cell of energy of the grid back into balance and flow? Yes, of course. Some points will create chaos and disruption. Some points will create flow. We use that all the time. If we want to create chaos and disruption, we will pick contradictory points, and the energy between them will be ecstatic, erratic, it will be volatile, it will disrupt. When we program humans, we use energy to program their tendency. So a highly disruptive or a highly energetic person will have high charges. So certain points of their grid will be activated, creating a restlessness between those points. Other people, when they're in depression or whatever, the points are either not functioning or points that have been used to depress the energy, slow down the energy, have been activated with grief or something. Your emotions change your energy. And so learning to understand that they are activators or deactivators of your energy grid. Anger will take you into chaotic, volatile energy, whereas suffering and sadness will take you into a depressive energy, slowing down energy state, a withdrawal energy state. So understanding that emotions are automatic energy regulators. Everything is energy, everything is in a grid. You are a grid. You just need to understand the emotions of the collective to create the flow in energy grids. So if everybody believes that energy should be free and you activate between the ley line points with the intention of flow, you will create an energy source that can flow out to the region around it and provide free energy. You can access that energy yourself, so that if you want to start a fire, you just send energy into the wood. If you want to cool down the room, you just send energy into the room to cool it down. You send cooling energy into the room, or you send heating energy into the room if you want to warm it up. Air is but a transport of energy. Whichever energy you fill it up with creates the temperature. The heating up of the planet, the high, hot summers that you are having, and the cold winters is a reflection of the emotional volatility of the community. And even in winter, you will have an extraordinarily warmer day. It warms it up more so than usual, and then it will cool it down more so than usual. And that is the volatility of the emotions within the community. So whilst the seasons create a certain energy, the temperature range within the seasons, the volatility of that depends upon the volatility of the emotions within the community. If you create more and more fear and more sensations, you will have more extreme weather. If you become more chilled and more relaxed, the volatility will disappear from your weather. However, there are the reptilians trying to influence the weather to move the weather to where they can get the most financial benefit for themselves. The greed is manipulating the energy balance, and so the collective energy needs to place a barrier of protection around itself, blocking greed, blocking anxiety, blocking malevolent energy. And so if, as a species, you created a pyramid of protection around the planet, then greed and other things would not be able to coexist within that pyramid. They would start to malfunction because they would not be fed by energy. The energy would become depleted in those negative energies. So creating a pyramid of protection around the earth as a collective will, or around your community, or around your family, or around yourself, wherever you go. All of these pyramids of protection or bubbles of protection that you create around yourselves works to drain the energy or block the energy from the malevolent that would normally feed off that energy. So at the very least, learning to have a bubble of protection around yourself and living in a positive bubble of energy, you are blocking the energy vampires from feeding off you. And yes, the reptilians are energy vampires. And the humans that they support are energy vampires. But your bubble of protection will stop them from being able to feed off you. So will your boundary of self-love around your self-love. It will stop energy vampires from feeding off you, and so you will get a free pass. And they will dissipate, they will shrink, they will dissolve. Their power will disappear because they are no longer feeding off you and taking your power away from you. It is very simple, really, but people do not understand it. And so because people do not understand it, it becomes very complicated, and they create all these complicated ways to try and do something that is very simple. All you need to do is understand energy flow. Energy flow exists where you send it out with whatever intention, and it comes back to you with that same intention. But if someone tries to take it from you and you allow them, you become energy drained, energy depleted, and they become energy vampires. And like any vampire, the more they feed, the more they need to feed. And so they create ways to allow you to feed, to let them feed off you, to stop you from fighting back, from them feeding off you. And so you build your boundary of protection that they cannot cross. That boundary of protection is a boundary with self-containing self-love. It is really quite simple. When you are in a balanced bubble, no one can burst it. When you're in an unbalanced bubble, a chaotic bubble, or a depressed bubble, an energy vampire can burst it, and will burst it, and will suck it dry. And then you become a victim, or you become a vampire to reclaim some energy and some power, and then you create victims. It is really quite simple. When you understand flow, when you can tune in to flow, you can start to see the flow in every interaction around you. The flow of happiness, the flow of reciprocity. If you eat unhealthy, you block your flow. If you eat healthy, you increase your flow, support your flow. If you have unhealthy thoughts or sad or stressful thoughts, you block your flow or you turn your flow into chaos. If you have positive thoughts, or you can let go of thoughts that have no further use, and you clear your mind constantly to allow it to have a nice steady traffic, but not too busy and not too blocked, but as and when it chooses, then you have flow. You can think quickly. You can go from A to B very quickly in your best time. You don't have to take detours and go down places that you don't want to go to in your thoughts. Think of it as a traffic grid. Your thoughts are going from experience to storage. It is a processing or a transportation place. It may need to stop along the way to do certain things to help it get to its destination, where when it finally gets there, it is ready to go into storage. So like a factory line, raw materials do not end up in a finished box, ready to be shipped or stored or used without going through certain processes. If you understand that, you can recognize what thoughts need further work, what thoughts are waste and should be thrown out, what thoughts are redundant and no longer needed, what thoughts are not ready yet and can be parked to the side for the later part in the process. Energy is beautiful. Your body is in flow. When you overeat, you cause congestion in that flow. When you undereat, you cause confusion in that flow because it needs something and it's not there when it needs it. When you eat the wrong foods that are going to block up organs in having to overwork to process that, to deal with that. When you do not exercise and you get congestion of your bloodstream not flowing efficiently, your lungs not working efficiently. They become lazy and congested and inefficient, and so you have to increase the flow again, but you need to also clean, because if you have a road that is congested with traffic and you just decide to flush it through, you are going to cause a lot of damage, because there is a lot of waste or parked cars or road accidents sitting along the way, and they need to be dealt with and cleaned and stored or processed, or whatever needs to be done with them should be done, so that you can restore flow. You cannot just come along and flush it. So healthy restoration of flow is what takes time and effort, but bit by bit it will work. If you have stored a lot of toxins in the fat in your body, you cannot just release it. You need to get the organs ready to be able to process those toxins when they are released, and that is through creating health in the kidneys and the liver and the lungs and the circulation and the hormone, the lymphatic system, so that when the fats break down and that toxic material is released, the systems are ready to deal with it. It's not going to be released and cause overwhelm in the liver or the gut, which is where cancers and other things happen.